Just take a look at Hannah's RS5. It is absolutely evil. This car has came such a long way from the moment we got it for just £12,000 from auction with that smashed in near side at front end to now when it's just a blacked out monster. So if you missed in the last video, Hannah activated stealth mode well and truly. She got rid of the Audi rotors and went for these fully satin black wheels from Wheelmania. But yeah, it's a little dirty at the minute. Now, black on black cars, I do like them when they're clean, but in the British winter time, it is impossible to keep a car clean and also keep your paint protected as well. Now, Hannah actually chose the colour of these wheels basing on the car was going to be a different colour, and she already picked the colour. Personally, I like the black, but I think I'm going to like the new colour even more, and I think you guys will as well. So hopefully in this video we get to finish the RS5 off with a few more modifications and hopefully some power modifications as well. So before we pull the car into the unit, the first thing that I've got to do is clean it. And that is because today I'm going to be wrapping it. Come on! Okay, so let's take a good strong look at the RS5 in black. It looks really nice. It does look really nice. Hopefully we're not going to ruin it. Well, I'm not ruining it. This is Hannah's choice. This is the last time you guys are going to see this all stealthed out. Yes, it does look really good. I agree with you guys. It does look so good. For about 2 minutes, then you drive it outside and it's caked up in muck and it looks so dirty. Now, it is so shiny because it's had a full front end respray. Obviously, after the accident, Darkside have painted the full front end up. So let's say we're protecting it rather than covering it up. So here is the wrap that Hannah's gone for. A Nositech. We have used a Nositech before. It is really good, but it's definitely not cheap. I'm pretty sure in that box I've ordered around 18 meters, which should do the RS5. And with the Nositech, that's going to cost you around £850. But I've used a Nositech before on the Audi R8, and it's pretty much the closest wrap you can get, which looks like a paint-like finish. Now, let me show you what colour she's chose. The colour khaki green. Now, for once, I've opened a roll of wrap and I think, yes, this is going to look really good. I've got confidence in this one. Now, in the unit and on camera, I don't think the colour is being done any justice, but that's the beauty of doing it in here. When we put it outside, it should look 10 times better. But guys, first initial thoughts, put them in the comment section below. Now, before we even start wrapping the car, there's a lot of preparation work that needs to be done. On some cars, bumpers need to be removed and lots of trims and panels. But on the RS5, I think I should be able to get away with just removing the rear lights, a few trims, and then putting some knifeless tape along the top. And we should be about ready to go. But not before grabbing a Y-Food, who have sponsored today's video. These things are a meal replacement drink. They're not a protein shake, they're not a weight gainer, they simply just replace your meal. Inside one of these shakes, there's 26 vitamins and minerals. It's high in fiber, it's high in protein, it's lactose free, it's gluten free, and there's no added sugar. Now, as I mentioned, these are a meal replacement drink, so it's perfect for people who are constantly on the go, like myself. There's 500 calories in this shake, so it's enough to replace one of my meals throughout the day. Instead of grabbing some of that fast food at lunchtime, I just grab one of these. On top of that, they also have vegan-friendly shakes, and also the packaging is 100% recyclable. So at least I've got good peace of mind that I'm not harming the environment. So if you're feeling like you want to be a little bit healthier next year, then you can grab a Y-Food taster pack by clicking the link in the description box below, and with help from this banner appearing underneath me right now, you're going to save yourself a bit of cash as well. Once again, thanks Y-Food for your continued support throughout this whole year and sponsoring today's video. Let's get the first bit of wrap on the Audi RS5. So there's no rules of where you should or shouldn't start when wrapping a car, but for me, I prefer to start on the side. That way I feel like I've got more done in one go. You guys have seen me wrap plenty of cars before, and you should know by now it takes a lot of patience. But if you think you've got the patience, I really encourage you guys to go and give it a go yourself. It's just a really handy skill to learn. Now with pretty much the whole of the rear quarter laid down, it was time to cut and trim the edges. This is where it can separate a good wrap from a bad one. You've got to be careful not to run your knife into any paint, any seals, and keep the cuts as straight as possible. And it gives you such a nice paint-like finish on the car. Next up, it's the door. But first we've got to remove the door handles. These are really easy to remove on Audis. There's just a Torx bolt hiding behind the seal, unscrew that, and then everything should just literally pop out. Door handle off, and now we're really beginning to make some moves. The RS5 doesn't really have any sharp, harsh lines, so it's quite easy to wrap, to be fair. With all the wrap laid out on the door, it was just time to use a little bit of heat to push the wrap into the door handle recess. I tried to use the heat gun as little as possible when using this wrap, as it is quite thick, and if you overstretch it, it can cause it to discolour. But with something like the door recess, there's no way you're doing that without any heat. Door done, and we're onto the bonnet. I like to get a line set down the centre and then do it in corners. Top right, top left, and bottom left. Then I can use the other panels like the wings as a guide to run my knife along to get a nice straight line. And with the bonnet now complete, it's time to actually move on to the wings. I don't actually have to remove the bumper to do the wing, but I just wanted to pop it out just so I can tuck the wrap underneath where the bumper joins to the wing. And if you are going to try wrapping yourself, I'd say the wing is the best panel to start to learn on. We're absolutely flying ahead with this one. The colour is incredible. I think Hannah's going to love it. So I've pretty much got all the driver's side done, bar the side skirt, because I need to take the Maxton Design splitter off to wrap that bit. But this colour, it is so glossy. The gloss on it is unreal. It is almost like paint. Now the mirrors, let's address these. Now these are signature to the RS and the S models of the Audi. So it's sort of kind of criminal to get rid of them, but it stands out so much against this khaki green. Look at that. It's the first thing that you notice. And these are going to be really difficult to wrap. It's going to have to be done in a lot of pieces. You have to do a piece on the front, and then a piece on the back, and then inside here as well. So I think what I'm going to do with them is actually paint them instead of wrap them. It's just getting them off, and I don't want to break the mirror when I'm getting it off. But I think the colour of the wrap against the car, I think it really suits the car. The only way I could sort of describe it is sort of, it's trendy. It's a trendy colour. Now with this wrap being like super high gloss, there are downsides, and one of them is, if you can just see in some of the light, it's almost like scratches, like swirl marks in the actual wrap on the top. And that's because when I'm using the squeegee to squeegee it all down, it's just literally putting scratches in the wrap, because it is literally like paint. Now supposedly when I use my heat gun and post heat the whole car at the end, these scratches should disappear. It should self-heal, but we'll see about that. Now I have made quite a bit of progress, but there's still the front bumper, the passenger side, the driver's side skirt, the rear bumper and the boot lid still to do. And also we have a nice interior mod that we're going to get onto later on the RS5. Just to give you guys an example of what it's like to work with this wrap. This is just a scrap piece of wrap. It's really tough, like you literally cannot stretch it. Proper rigid thing. But then as soon as you sort of introduce the heat gun to it and introduce the heat, turns to liquid. Look at that. It is literally like liquid now, and it is super stretchy once it's heated up, but then within seconds it goes back to full rigid mode, like cardboard almost. Now I've still got the passenger side to do, and I'm sure none of you want to watch me wrap a quarter panel, a door and a wing again, so for the sake of YouTube, one more. Passenger side, done. So in total right now, I say it's about 8 or 9 hours into this job. Bearing in mind, it's a one-man job at the moment. If we had another person, it might have been a little bit quicker than that. Now, onto the boot lid. This colour seems to be showing off a lot more of the lines of the car than before. Look at that sort of ducktail flick on the boot that I never even noticed in black. I've got to remove the number plate and the RS5 badge on the back, and then the inner rear lights as well, just so I could wrap inside the recess. And with the whole boot lid wrapped, it's time to move on to the bumpers, which tend to be the hardest part of the wrap. I had to have a little help from Hannah just to stretch the wrap over the bumper. Now what I've seen some companies do is actually just wrap straight over the parking sensors, and sometimes I've done that myself, but this time what I'm going to do is cut out the holes for the parking sensors, take the parking sensors out and wrap them separately before putting them back into the bumper. I think this will give it a much more paint-like finish. I think people just tend to wrap over these in the bumper just because it's easier, or they don't want to break anything removing the bumper. And yes, the parking sensors still work as usual with wrap over them. Clever stuff. Last thing to do on the rear was to paint this sort of rear diffuser, which was that sort of satin silver colour. I've gone over it with some grey primer and some satin black paint. With that connected and clipped back on, it's onto the front bumper. This is the most trickiest part of wrapping a car because there's loads of different recesses, grooves and sharp corners on the bumper. And we're just about on the home straight now. Last thing we've got to wrap is the side skirts. I can't do this on my scissor lift because I've got to take off the Maxon Design side skirts first. So it looks like I'll be doing this on the floor. I'll lay the wrap out and stretch it the best I can without using heat first. Then I'll just use the heat afterwards to push it into the recesses before using my knife to trim it all up and just about finish the job. Okay, 3 days in the making and we are just about there. We've got a few more things to do. One of them is door handles. I think I'm going to make the executive decision to keep the door handles black. What do you think? I'm not quite sure. Let me just hold this on roughly. I think, yeah, they're staying black. So black door handles it is. Next thing that's got to go black is the wing mirrors. It was a tricky one to work out how these actual wing mirror caps actually come off, but once you remove the glass without breaking it and under a few torque screws, they simply just clipped off. And here we go with the grey primer, and then after with a bit of black paint. Now, whilst I wait for the wing mirrors to dry, I was going to install Apple CarPlay, which is what is in this box, but turns out we're missing a few cables, so, well, that'll have to wait. But now we're looking just about ready to get the wing mirrors back on the car. Yes, my painting is absolutely terrible, but that's why I wrap stuff. Now, I actually ended up going back over the mirrors with some satin black paint instead of gloss black because it just looks so bad. But once it had another layer, it wasn't too bad. Probably a 4 out of 10. Okay, let's get this thing outside, show you guys, and then go and show Hannah. I think this looks so good. I can't wait to see it outside. Shake me awake. Bring me. Guys, we have done it again. I don't know how we consistently seem to do this every single time, but now the RS5 looks so good. Looking for a sign, we can't find you. Never mind, Hannah, we'll get her reaction later, but I'm absolutely over the moon with how this thing looks. It looks like no other RS5 on the road, well, that I know of at the minute. It truly stands out now in this colour. It looks so clean, and it is literally like a paint finish. Look how shiny this thing is. I almost don't want to drive it. It is that clean. It's made the wheels pop so much more now against the colour. You can actually see a lot more detail in the wheels. I don't know how well my paint job is going to hold up on the wing mirrors of the satin black. It may last 2 seconds, it may last 2 years, we will never know, but the car is looking unreal. Everything just stands out so much more now with this colour. I love it. It is so good. I'd love to hear what you think about it in the comment section below. I agree, it's probably not going to be to everyone's taste, but I just can't see why it wouldn't. It looks so good. Now, when I wrap a car, I do get a little bit of stick sometimes because I don't do the door shuts, but with this being black, I just can't see why you would wrap the door shuts. You spend all that time doing the door shuts when this, it looks, well, how it should look, I think. And the beauty about a wrap is that it's so much easier to look after now. I don't have to worry about scratching the paint, and it could just all peel back off and go back to the original colour or change to a different colour in the future. But now I think it's time to drive it and go and get Hannah's reaction of the car. I'm sure she's going to be over the moon, fingers crossed. Okay, now she has seen it almost half done, but this will be the first time that she sees it complete. Hi.
Not ready?
Your new car. Well, not new, but kind of new. Like the colour?
I made a good choice.
Out of 10?
Like 50.
It looks sick, doesn't it?
Please don't get rid of it.
The RS5 is literally such a good all-round car, and now it looks one of a kind. From what it looked like at the start to what it does now is unreal. I'm over the moon, and I'm sure Hannah's over the moon with it as well. Hopefully this video or any of my videos have inspired you to get on the tools, get on the driveway, get modifying your car, or even wrapping your car. Little did I know, literally 2 years ago when I first started rebuilding Hannah's Audi TT and wrapping it, that I would be working on cars like this 2 years in time. Your whole life can change in 1 year. It's unreal. Hopefully 2022 is the year for you guys. Thanks so much for watching the video, and so much for subscribing and liking and watching every single video that I put up. If you enjoyed the video, hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. See you in the next video. Peace out. Wait, just before we leave, there was actually meant to be a video going live last week, which was on the Maserati, and also giving away the PlayStation 5 to the people that bought stuff from my online shop. So there was 3 winners. I actually managed to drop 1 PlayStation 5 off, which you'll see next week. The other 2, we had a nightmare with. The Maserati was actually involved in an accident, and well, that's the reason why the video didn't go live before this one. But you guys are going to see exactly what happened next week. But thanks for sort of holding by me, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.